Now we're going to take a look at one of the movies that is one of the hidden gem films of this year. It is a brand new Irish film called Herself. Now this film has kind of taken the world by storm, and now it's landed here in Australia and been released in cinemas. It's the latest film by director Phyllida Lloyd, and a lot of you might be asking, who is Phyllida Lloyd? Well, she is the person responsible for films such as the original Mamma Mia film, and the amazing film The Iron Lady, which looked at Margaret Thatcher, that came out in 2011. Now, this film Herself is an absolute gem of a film. In fact, I would go as far to saying it is an absolute masterpiece. It's a hard-hitting, hard-edged film that revolves around the character of Sandra, played by Claire Dunn. Now, Sandra is the victim of domestic abuse. Her husband, Gary, played by Ian Lloyd Anderson, is a violent husband that beats her senseless at the start of this movie, and Sandra realizes that she needs to get out of this marriage with her children, Molly and Emma. But she finds herself in a difficult situation. She has very little money of her own, and she ends up having to turn to the government to help her try to escape her husband. Now, she finds herself living in a hotel, but she doesn't want to be there. She wants to be able to stand on her own feet, and she realizes that the only way that she's ever going to be able to get away from Gary and to get her daughters away from him is to be able to show what a violent person he is while also standing on her own 2 feet. Now, soon she finds out about these cheaply built homes that are kind of a kit home that are advertised that anybody can build them with the help of their friends. Now, Sandra decides that she would actually save the government money if they could give her a block of land and she could build one of these kit homes herself. Now, she pitches the idea to the government, and not surprisingly, they turn around and say that this is something that they can't do, even though in the long run, it would be saving them money. Now, somebody comes along to help her, and that person is Peggy, played by Harriet Walter. Now, Peggy is someone that Sandra actually does cleaning for. She's a former doctor who worked overseas with groups such as Doctors Without Borders, but she injured herself badly in a fall and broke her hip. Now she relies on Sandra to come around and help her clean. Once Sandra tells her this idea about this kit home, Peggy says, "Why don't you build it at the bottom of my garden?" She's got a huge block of land and she doesn't use the bottom of the garden, so suggests that Sandra can do so. Sandra soon finds a builder who reluctantly decides to help her, and her friends decide that it's time to start building this house. But as she does so, once again, Gary comes into her life and wants to cause trouble for her. This is an absolutely amazing, powerful film, but I will warn anybody out there who's been through domestic abuse that this is not an easy watch. You see some very dramatic and hard-edged scenes early on between Gary and Sandra, and some of the scenes that happen throughout this film have actually caused people to walk out of cinemas in the UK just because it is so realistic. The film screenplay was actually written by Claire Dunn, who plays Sandra, and as I said, it is a hard-edged screenplay. It shows just how difficult it can be for a woman to escape a domestic abuse relationship, even when she is desperate to try and stand on her own 2 feet. The performance here by Claire Dunn is absolutely sensational. It's not surprising that she's already been nominated for some independent film awards for her portrayal of Sandra, and also brilliant in this film are the two young actresses that play her daughters, Molly and Emma. They have some extremely difficult scenes, especially scenes in which Emma shows her fear for her father, Gary, after remembering some of the things that she saw that her mother go through. I take my hat off to the filmmakers that have made this film. It is graphically real, and the fact that they put young actresses like Ruby Rose O'Hara through this film is just a credit to the young actresses for what they went through, but also a credit to the filmmakers for making such a brutally honest film. The film has all that power in it that so many people could watch this film and learn what this kind of relationship is like and learn how tough it is for women to escape these kinds of relationships. But it also is the kind of film that will spark a power in people that want to escape these kinds of relationships. It is an absolutely empowering film. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's an easy film to watch, because it's absolutely not. The screenplay itself takes the audience on an amazing journey. There are twists and turns all the way through. Don't expect this to be your typical kind of feel-good movie. This movie is brutally realistic and shows all the setbacks that people can go through that are going through a time like this. But it is a truly brilliant film. A great, amazing, naturalistic performance by all of the cast. And just a film that I think I'm going to remember for a long time to come. I can't recommend this film highly enough. It has an ending that is absolutely amazing. I'm going to give this film 5 stars, and don't be surprised if this film doesn't read a mention when it comes Oscar time next year. The film is called Herself. It is out in Australian cinemas right now. If you're in Melbourne, Hobart, and the states that are open, it will definitely be out already. If you're in some of the states that are closed down, please check your local guides to see when this film will be released.